Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing type of analysis here on Kanye West. Thought it'd be interesting to see the evolution of his music from where he started to now. Came across a few interesting things. Well, with College Dropout, this was his first album. Nowhere in the entire album does he take God's name in vain. The last track he says, "Oh my God," but he says it in a very like light tone, like it not really. I do consider that taking the Lord's name in vain, but honestly, I don't take it that way with how he's saying it. I don't know if that sounds odd or not to you guys, but I really don't consider that it. So I would say he does not take the Lord's name in vain in this. And you can obviously tell in this album that he's a Christian, especially with the song Jesus Walks. Now, on the website Metacritic.com, you can see that this score for the album got an 87. Now, we have Late Registration, which he still doesn't take the Lord's name in vain in this album. You can still tell he's a Christian. You can just tell in the music and with some of his lyrics that he is that he uses. Sorry, and the sound from Late Registration is similar to the sound in College Dropout. And the Metacritic score for this one was 85. Now, Graduation. He still doesn't take the Lord's name in vain anywhere in the album. You can still tell he's Christian. He still makes references to God. And it's a new sound that he presents. It's different from Late Registration and College Dropout as far as the sound goes, but it's still a part of that trilogy. Now, the Metacritic score he got for this one was 79. I don't have the physical album, but there's also 808s and Heartbreak, which came out after Graduation. Sorry about the shaky camera. And in that one, he still doesn't take the Lord's name in vain. It's a new sound. It's a different sound from Late Registration, College Dropout, and Graduation. But he doesn't make any references to God or Christ, at least none that I can remember. But I cannot recall of any references he's made. Now, that album got an average of 75 on Metacritic. Now, this is where things get weird. So, for 4 albums, Kanye West does not take the Lord's name in vain at all. Okay, and he for 3 of the albums, you can tell like he is a Christian based off what how he uses God and everything. And he speaks about the devil. When he speaks about the devil, it's like in a negative context. But this is where it changes. He takes the Lord's name in vain 4 times in this album. He makes multiple references to the devil, more than he has made in all of his other albums combined. He says, "I saw the devil in a Chrysler LeBaron. My eyes are more red than the devil is. You learned a lot from Satan. We're going to hell for heaven's sakes. Well, I'm a levitate, make the devil wait. The way you look," this isn't a reference to the devil, but still something of evil. "The way you look should be a sin. You're my sensation." He says, "Sorry for the night demons still visit me." He has a song called "Devil in a New Dress." Another one called "Hell of a Life." He says, "We'll live one hell of a life" in that song. He says, "Make a nun come, make her cremate." Praises due to the Most High Allah, which isn't a reference to the Christian God, but to the Muslim God, which is still, one being, but with what the religious texts say they are in ways different gods. Anyways, he says, "Praises due to the Most High Allah, praises due to the Most Fly Prada." In Graduation, he says, "Adam, Eve wear nada." So if the devil wear Prada, Adam, Eve wear nada. I'm in between, but way more fresher. So I think that's weird that he would say praises due to the Most High Allah, which is a reference to the Muslim God, and then say praises due to the Most Fly Prada, when in another song he related Prada, the, clothing, to the devil. And he would say that. He also says, is hip hop just a euphemism for a new religion, which is disrespecting organized religion. He says, may the Lord forgive us, may the gods be with us, which would be a reference to the fallen angels. He also says something about the devil. He says the devil dances and gorgeous. And he says, this pimp is at the top of Mount Olympus. This pimp being him. And at the top of Mount Olympus, referring to himself as a god. And if you go on rapgenius.com and you look at the analysis of that line, they say that that's what the concept for the music video for Power was, which was showing him as a god. And remember, he has that chain on with Horus, who was the Egyptian sun god. I think it was a sun god. And who, one of the symbols for Horus was an eye, which is just another representation of the all-seeing eye, which is the eye of the devil. And he also was wearing the two ring with the rings with that are pyramids, with an eye in each one of the pyramids. And I've done an analysis on the artwork. You have the angel right here throwing up the devil horns. You have the album is red. You have the snake throughout, which is actually the devil. And then you have the all-seeing eye. And then you have OSE, which is a president demon of hell. And then you have the artwork. You have him as a demon getting a lap dance from a sphinx or like a griffin or whatever. Sphinx. You have another one depicting a priest as a monster. You have another one with the head of Kanye West, his head with a crown on it, but it's been chopped off from his body, and there's a sword through it, and it looks like heaven in the background, which would be a representation of the old Kanye West being dead. The Christian one, the saved one, being dead. And you also have the crown with no head in it, but there's like a sword where the head should be, which I believe is another representation just for like the sword being put through God's head. Also, if you look at how he is in this album compared to all the other ones, he is much more sexually crude in this album. I just think it's very interesting to note that huge difference. For 4 albums, he did not take the Lord's name in vain. Then he takes it 4 times. And this one, in vain. And he does all these, he mentions Satan so much, both in a metaphorical sense and also almost in a positive one or in a humorous one. And that's just weird. There's a huge difference. Now, here's Watch the Throne. I've shown you guys in the other video. It makes a Freemason cube. The deluxe edition one does. When you fold it, remember, look at the outline of Jay-Z's head. Kanye's is the same. And then when you take the poster out and you make it into a diamond, and you shape it like a diamond, there's a devil head. See, they're shaped the same. And this one has devil horns, and it's red. And it has a crown. It's got a crown with a pentagram in it. And that name of the album is Watch the Throne. And here's some artwork. This has to be artwork for No Church in the Wild. A friend of mine pointed this out to me. These are fallen angels. These 2 fallen angels are walking into woods. You see that? No Church in the Wild. This angel of light right here, illumination, Illuminati, is actually Lucifer. This star on the face of Lucifer is, I forget what he said. It's like, if it's like a representation of like the 5 points of Christ or something like that. I forget. He commented on one of my videos, but the star is a representation of Christ. And this word is sapientia, which means like finding your own knowledge. It's advocating science. And throughout the album, Kanye West disrespects the Holy Trinity. He talking about forming a new religion, saying what would Hova do, um, I mean, the theme of No Church in the Wild is what sapientia means, and so you can tell that he has um, been drawn away from Christ. Also, in his Good Fridays, which I would consider a part of my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, he makes another reference to the devil, saying the devil stays testing. He takes the Lord's name in vain in that too, and he also mentions aliens and Chain Heavy, which the beat for the song Chain Heavy, it has a UFO sound to it. He's making a reference in the chorus to his Horus chain, and he says they try to tell me that aliens built the pyramids, which is, he's not saying aliens or demons, but just the fact that we are able to find all of this stuff on him, and that he would even say that line just says something right there. None of this is truly hard evidence, guys. I know it isn't. If anything, question this. Question this stuff. This is suspicious stuff, if anything. If it's not Illuminati, if it's not satanic, this is suspicious stuff.